Hello everybody, welcome to another Transformers third party review. Thanks to the team over at Robot Kingdom. In today's video we're taking a look at the pre-production samples of the 3-pack offering from Planet X. It is of course their Insecticons, Morpheus, Phantasus and Phobetor, I think that's how it's pronounced, aka Sharpshot, Kickback and Hardshell, off of Fall of Cybertron. Now I absolutely love how these figures look. They have managed to capture the game likeness to an exceptional standard. That being said, this is meant to be that way, isn't it? There we go. There. That's a bit better. Absolutely love how these guys look. The face sculpt, although it is probably the weakest part of the figure, is still pretty much what we got with the game. Just got slightly poutier lips than I would have liked. Now I believe I've got their right weapons here in hand. They all came in a baggie, and of course we get no instructions, and I'm trying to locate images of them using their weapons. The only ones I've found are kind of the ones in game, so I hope that I've got that right. But they tidy up very nicely, quite clean. A bit of a backpack there, but it's a bug, so what do we expect? You can move the legs out to the side. I just think it's a very nicely done piece. It's been done to a very nice standard. Now they're not the heaviest piece that Planet X have done. These feel very much like the Fans Project Dinos, for example. They're Lost Realm figures. It's that kind of plastic consistency and weight, but at the same time, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Keeps down on shipping costs. Everything holds together as it should. Planet X have got a really good name for themselves. Completely gutted that I had to sell the Dinobots when I was in Canada. Unfortunately, needs must, and I needed to sell a lot of that collection to get us back to the UK after I lost the use of the leg. But hey, life goes on, and I shall eventually get them back. I will build up my Planet X collection if it's the last thing I do. For a figure this size, articulation is pretty nice. You can look up, down, we can go left, and we can go right, and we can tilt side to side. The shoulders are on friction joints. Move those legs out of the way at the back so we can get a much nicer range on there. You can come out to the side, hindered only by these shoulder pads. We can rotate at the upper bicep, just shy of 90-degree bend on that elbow. Would have liked more from that really. And we get up and down on the wrist. Unfortunately, no rotation on there, and he does grip that weapon quite nicely. We do have rotation on the waist, thankfully. No abdominal crunch. Legs this far forwards, this far back, this far out to the side. Upper thigh rotation. Nice bend on that knee, and up and down on the foot, as well as left and right. Unfortunately, the pivot is somewhat lackluster. Next up, we have one of my personal favorites. This is Kickback. I love that gold and purple on the crest. The head sculpt alone is by far one of the best out of the three. Drawing references for the game and bringing it into the real world successfully. Really love these curves at the back here. Really nicely done. Again, we have some substantial back kibble that stick out at the back here. Now we can bring those further out to the side, but again, that is pretty close to the game. He's got the best coverings on the legs, in my opinion. It really does clean up really nicely, and again, kind of guessing at the weapons. They all look the same. The head can look up and down, we go left and right, same ball mounted motion, although we do get some up and down on those antennae. Shoulders are a little bit cleaner, less hindrance there. We can bring them up and around, but you do have to be careful because they do tend to disengage from this section here. Chest is a fixed unit, so you can't really rock them forwards. We have an upper bicep rotation in there. We get a nice 90-degree bend on that elbow. And again, unfortunately, the hands are a fixed unit. We do get rotation on the waist, quite a high waist though, and we get legs this far forwards. This far backwards, we get that kind of double jointed knee. It goes just beyond the 90-degree mark, and we can then straighten that back up. Feet can go up and down, and we have some left and right, but again, pivots are quite minimal. I say minimal, but would you really want any more than that? And last but by no means least, we have Hardshell. Big, chunky beast of a bot. I love the fact that head sculpt looks like a knight's helmet. He's got those really big American football styled shoulder pads. We've got the beetle head on the back there, again guessing with the weapons. Very impressed with the rich purple they've gone with. It's a great choice of colours, mixing it up with these grey plastics and these pearlescent black, and then finishing off with a dash of gold. Very good looking figures. Same articulation as the others, no real difference in there. The arms do rotate. We get a 90-degree bend on that arm. You also get this additional piece which can come up and close off. We get rotation on his fists. That's always very welcome. We get the ability to rotate at the waist. Legs come forwards and backwards. We can come out to the side, upper thigh rotation. We get a nice deep bend on that knee, and the feet we can rotate left and right on the toe. The heel spur unfortunately is a fixed unit, and we get some up and down motion, and we can kind of pivot it slightly, but not a great deal. Only downside to these, unfortunately, I think is the down-sized look of them. Personally, I'm okay with that because that's very close to the size and scale that's used in the game. In fact, I think that's pretty much spot on, but not everybody is going to be a fan of getting a trio of deluxe sized figures. These remind me very much of the Fans Project Insecticons from a few years back, only done correctly. I mean, I loved those figures. They were good for the time, but I think these have better engineering and just have that better overall look and feel. I mean, here they are alongside the MPM Bumblebee, who we all know is a fairly small deluxe, and we have the Dr. Wu Carly there at the front there, and of course Orion Pax. He's kind of a Voyager scale, so these are somewhere in between the Legend scale and the deluxe scale, very similar to the stuff that Mech Fan Toys are doing. Right, let's transform these up and see how the bug modes fare. To start off with, unfortunately we do have to remove their weapons. I know, terrible, isn't it? I want to lift this back piece up so there's enough clearance at the back there. The head can then flip around and rotate. This can then come up. As we bring that up, the bug head's going to rotate around, slide down, and just tab in to the side of those shoulders. We have a nice high upper bicep rotation which turns around. The arm is going to split. The hand is going to rotate around, so these are at the front, and that's just going to drop forwards. These legs will drop forwards to the front. These legs on the underside just flip, rolling the shoulder around, bringing this down. We can just rotate this leg up, and again the leg is just going to rotate around. We can then bring that shoulder back upwards, open up the rear of the legs. You're going to want to rotate around there at the thigh. It's then going to collapse. It doesn't go all the way in. It shifts on this knee like so, and it goes in at that angle, and going in at the angle allows for us to get this kind of curve shape going on at the back there. These two can then come in, and they're going to tab in nicely on the underside like this. This can then straighten up, straighten all these up, bring the legs back out. This piece of the leg then comes up to the side, and there's a hole just on the underside there. This is going to tab in and secure into place. And there we have him, transformed up into his bug mode. It's not the most intuitive of designs, and there's a little bit of parts forming with those wings. We also get a secondary hold underneath here where the legs can actually pop off and plug into. Not really that sure about that, what that's for, other than the fact that we can cut our insecticons in half. I'm assuming we can just slice and dice them. Either that or we can chop and change out the legs. But for now, that's a pretty nifty little transformation, and the overall effect is a pretty decent result. Kind of resembles his screen counterpart. Next up, again, we have to remove the weapons for the purpose of the transformation. We can flip down this front panel. This is going to come down like so. Bend the antennae downwards like so. Rotate this head around, and as we bring that down, these antennae are now going to just miss that section there, and this can be brought back down and tab in. The legs can be brought back to the side like so. This arm untabs from here and comes around to the back. This is going to come up and over like so. These are now going to form the front of the legs. These big cricket-like legs can come up and out of the way. For now, we're going to add the weapons onto these points. Split the crotch and bring these pieces up to the side. We can then bring these legs down. So again, bring that down. These two are then going to tab in together, he says. Make sure that these spiked parts are facing upwards, and if you look, there's these two tabs on the inside there. They're going to line up with the tabs in the crotch. It's a little bit fiddly the first couple of times you do it, but once you get the hang of it, they do lock in quite easy. These legs bend backwards and kind of come up like so. And again, it just tabs in at the base just here, sliding in nicely, and then this closes off over like that. That's not a bad bug mode, I don't think. Kinda looks like a kind of grasshopper stroke locust sort of thing, doesn't it? I don't know. Oh, it's not bad, is it? And again, last but not least, let's remove the weapons. Looks a lot like Slash, doesn't it? Rotate the head around, lift this up, rotate this. This is going to come up and over the shoulders and just tab in on either side. This is now going to rotate and rotate like so. Bring this arm piece up and rotate it over. We're going to rotate the bicep. This is going to flick down, push up and around to form the claw, and then that's going to sit at the front. Come down to the underside, lift these around, lift these around. The knee is going to slide out of this joint here. This will come down, allows us to flip this foot piece around. From here, you want to rotate at the thigh. This can then collapse and bend backwards on that knee joint, collapsing in there fully. Push and tab in at the center there and at the tip, and we'll push, and those should tab in together. They're not the easiest to get in there, but once they're in, they'll stay in, and you can bring in your weapon, and that's going to tab in on the top of the shoulder. So there we go. That was a nice, easy, straightforward transformation. I mean, the colors are so vibrant when they're in their insect mode. Really nice, clean detailing. Really bold, piercing eyes. The legs can bend this guy, which really does help support and give it more of that kind of insect look to it. Love these curves over the shoulders. as well, and the way these legs kick up. You can see the translucent plastic there. The only point that I have any concerns about is this area here. Nothing has moved at all on mine, but I can see this being a pressure point that needs to be addressed possibly. I don't necessarily agree with that being translucent plastic on there. Once they're together, they hold together really nicely. It's just getting those pieces to hold together. That's the biggest drawback. That gold is lovely. Articulation on the bugs is more limited. We have the kind of board mounted legs on all of the models, and we get a little bit of up and down motion on those heads. The wings are normally the most articulated piece, but again, even that has its limitations. The poses that they're in are probably the most articulated that we're going to get them in. Hardshell has the most articulated head out of everybody, but that's only if we pull it away from the base. Other than that, I mean, these are pretty static in their bug modes, but I'm okay with that. I think their bot modes are definitely their strongest point, but at the same time, these are pretty much as close to the source material as we're going to get. And to give you a quick idea of scale, here they are alongside Skywarp and Prime. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. As far as a trio of bugs go, I think that Planet X definitely hit the nail on the head here. They have done a remarkable job. I love the use of the gold and purple. That's props to the original source material, though. For the Cybertron, still one of my favourite Transformer games to date. Definitely need to get a hold of those Dinobots again. Unfortunately, the prices on those are absolutely skyrocketing, so I fear it may be some time until I can afford those. But for now, I hope you found this video useful. If you have, feel free to give it a big thumbs up, share, and of course subscribe. I've included a link in the description below where you can purchase these at Robot Kingdom. And until next time, from myself and the Insecticons, thanks for watching. Goodbye.